Let's go to the minority leader of the West Virginia State Senate, Democrat from Marion County, and also former chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, so he knows the numbers, Roman Prezioso. Senator, good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Hoppy. Doing well. Thank you.
Good. As a former chairman of the Budget of the Finance Committee and the Senate, can you have any appreciation for what the Republicans have proposed, or do you think they're off base?
Well, I don't see it as a budget. This is just a concept. It appears to me that the clock down in the governor's office has him, sort of astray here. It looks like bad clock management. They come out the first half with a weak offense, come out at halftime and got back into the game and felt that they had to, propose something, and they threw up a Hail Mary. I don't see it as a budget. It's open-ended. They're going back. We studied with the Gate Committee and tax reform committees, and they're looking for money that's not there.
What do you think of the concept? The concept, and it is a framework. It's not a budget, it's a framework. What do you think of the concept, Senator, of you're going to expect to collect $4.055 billion next fiscal year of not spending any more than $4.055 billion, which is what they're really trying to hit here. What do you think of that concept?
Well, the concept is that they want to balance the budget, and if that's all you want to do, then they can get there with this concept. But in order to jumpstart the economy, there's nothing in this concept that they put forward that's going to jumpstart the economy.
What about, I think the jumpstart of the economy the governor's proposing is his road plan. That's really a separate deal. I mean, that's not in the budget per se. That's a separate action. So there's still an opportunity for that, isn't there?
Well, there still is, yes. But, this session is unlike any other. I mean, we've got a crisis. This crisis is worse than I've ever seen in my tenure down here. And, the budget should be on first and foremost. And we should be talking about roads. We should be talking about infrastructure. We should be talking about tourism. How do we grow the economy? We need to do that. We've managed to balance the budget for several years now, and we haven't been able to jumpstart the economy. Now that we're in a situation with the coal crisis, we've got to move forward. We've got to have a vision, and I see no vision in their budget concept.
Senator, given that, then are you all in on Governor Justice's proposed budget of $4.5 billion, which includes $450 million in new taxes?
I am. I think that the governor is an excellent businessman. He's a proven entity. He's brought people on board. Woody Thrasher, he's got a tremendous track record. He was in the House chamber yesterday telling us about what all the other states are doing in their economic development plans. They've got a concept that they can go out there and entice business to come to West Virginia. They've got to have some money in order to attract businesses. There has to be some incentives. And if we don't give this administration the opportunity to grow this economy, then we're just back here next year in worse shape than we are now.
Well, the key there would be that SOS fund, which the governor originally proposed. He wanted $100 million. He's backed off. He said, give me $35 million over 3 years. I think that deal could be done. I mean, I think there's a way.
I do too.
I mean, I don't know if you can raise $450 million in taxes. I don't think the Republican majorities are going to go for that at all. But I think you could find a way in budget negotiations to get them the $35 million to do that. But that's, as you know, that's a matter of negotiation.
I totally agree with you, but they've got to have some money in order to attract some economic development, and if we don't, we're in bad shape.
Roman, what are you hearing from your constituents? I mean, do they understand? Do they know that the governor's proposed very significant tax increases on the other side? There are cuts that are proposed. I mean, what direction do people want to go that you hear from in your constituency?
Well, we're in touch with our constituents every time we go home, every time we go to the grocery store and things like that. They're very supportive of the governor. They realize that we're in a financial crisis, and most of those people, want jobs. And in order to get jobs, you got to have an infrastructure plan. And they're willing to bear some of the burden of tax increases and things like that to jumpstart the economy. I think, we did the same thing back in 89, 90 with Governor Caperton, and people were very willing initiatives, and that's what we're hearing.
Well, I tell you, I understand that, and I believe that his road plan would help the economy. I believe they're giving him $35 million for almost like a venture capital fund. I think that has value. But also, he's talking about raising the business, adding in a business occupation tax, Roman. He's talking about raising the consumer sales tax. Those are not pro-business steps right there. Those aren't steps that help the economy. They generate revenue, but they don't necessarily help the economy.
Well, he's got a balanced plan. He doesn't expect the taxpayer to bear all the brunt of the burden. Business is going to have to do their share too. It's to their benefit to have those jobs. It's to their benefit to have a good economy. And I think he's got a total systemic plan that'll work if we all get together. We keep talking about getting together, and the only plan we have so far is the finance chair has obviously broken us down into committees to look at those budgets again, and I think basically to reinforce the fact that we've taken $600 million in taxes out of the economy, and if we're going back into the big three to take money out of higher ed, that's going to be a disaster. Public ed is already hurting, and I don't know where you take it out of DHHR with all the ties to the federal money that we have. So we've been down this road on several occasions over the past 3 years, and I don't know where they expect to find the money.
Senator, finally, Senator Roman Prezioso is with us. I guess there was a dust-up in committee yesterday. Was it Judiciary where you and the rest of the Democrats walked out? What was that all about?
Well, I'm not on the Judiciary Committee, but what I've heard, we came in here Saturday, and there was a bill that was proposed. It was, I believe it was a House bill, and we debated the issue for 2 hours. There were amendments offered and amendments accepted, and then eventually the bill was closed down. When we came in here yesterday, in 15 minutes, the bill was brought back before us. No amendments were allowed, and the bill passed. It was just a strong-arm tactic to get this bill on track for one reason or another without having any input. It was total frustration with our members, and at that time, what's the use? If we're not going to be part of the process, we're not going to waste our time sitting in committee meetings, and it destroys the whole committee process.
It sounds like things are starting to get a little chippy there.
I believe frustration is starting to set in, and like I say, it's just bad clock management. The first half, there was no offense. There wasn't a strong showing. They come out the second half, and obviously they want to make a statement, but they threw up a Hail Mary that didn't connect.
Senator Roman Prezioso, the minority leader of the state Senate, Democrat, Marion County. Senator, thank you for coming on. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Hoppy.
All right, we'll be back.